Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome to What Remains of Edith Finch. Interesting. This is definitely not your typical menu. Oh. Oh. I was supposed to look down. I was wondering why both the left analog stick and the right analog stick were performing the same function.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Now, when it comes to walking simulators, this is definitely one of the prettier ones, I gotta say. Oh, so slow. That's I guess, the theme for walking simulators is...
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Is the speed in which you're expected to walk. Although, like... Ooh.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
It might be a little bit late for those bills. Although this one seems to be, like it all depends on how much these things present Storia. Like, what was it called? Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. Is one of those that
My mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
That I feel had an interesting story.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
It's an interesting story, but it took too long to get between points of interest. I feel this game is definitely the opposite of that, considering that there have been like points of interest every couple steps. Like, I can barely even speak an idea without some...
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Piece of text popping up.
Questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Which makes it seem as though the developers of the game had a better idea in regards
the woods
to
around the house have always been uncomfortably silent.
How quickly the player
They're about to say something, but never do.
Was moving through the environment. Oh, now I've got space to talk. Yeah. Got some overgrown basketball over here. Although, honestly, I don't really know too much about this game. I think I might have heard it once described as a ghost story. But otherwise, like, this has always kind of been...
exactly like I remembered it. The way I'd been dreaming about it.
Kind of been off in the peripherals. Like the distant
the house
peripheral.
Made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Well, the house does look pretty unstable. Like, once you get to that top floor, I'd be pretty worried myself. But why did I use the dog entrance?
The doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
I would imagine so. That is a lot of attention to detail, I've got to say. Oh, hold on. We got the pleasures of Japanese cooking, cosmic cuisine, tasting Thailand, a Viking's belly. There seems to be a theme in these books, but I don't know what. Then we got tools, we got lacquer, we got... This is a very detailed game, I gotta say.
For the first time in years.
So I'm guessing it's
I
January
was home.
2017, maybe? The Holiday Feast, another copy of Viking's Belly. Why do they need multiple copies of Viking's Belly? Do they really?
Instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Edith, Eddie, Lewis, and Dawn. In loving memory of Lewis Finch, beloved brother to Edith. Lewis died. And I'm like, Lewis died, and I'm over here being like, you got another copy of Taming the Sea. And another copy of Flour, Salt, Water, Yeast.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Yeah, their house seems a bit in the boonies. Considering I had to take an odd trail to get there.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Their cat was having the time of their life. Cat was like, oh yeah, give me that sweet, sweet salmon.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
So Lewis died. But I presume...
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Edie, not Eddie. Okay.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
I agree. A lot of clutter going on. A lot of copies of... Let's see, we got Infinite Jest, The Book of Wonder, Pastoralia, The Weird. There are so many books, the TV is set on other books.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Oh. Pictures of the developers or their children. Labyrinths. The Book of Sand. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Book of Sand. It's coarse, and it's rough, and it gets everywhere.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Barbara Finch was a director? And I don't believe there is a run button. There is a zoom in button, a menu button. Okay, so this is the family tree, or at least branch of it. So you've got Edith, who I believe I'm playing as. Milton died, Lewis died, Gus died, Gregory died, everybody else is dead. Yep. And Dawn was the last.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Like packing peanuts. What on earth?
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Huh.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
So Milton actually disappeared. Mm.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Oh, great. So I have a house key, but the house key does not open the basement door. Can I sit down and take a ride? Probably not safe, as it hasn't been used for a while. There are so many books,
After
even the
Milton
stairs are
disappeared,
cluttered.
Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Huh. Which is why the library is sealed off. Which is why Molly's room.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a hindrance to friendship.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
I don't know. The wallpaper here is pretty awesome. I mean, if I was in this house, I would probably spend a lot of time playing in this room. 'Cause... that's a nice touch. The Finch's sign at the bottom of the sea.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Does my house key open up the book? My house key opens up the book.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Is it ghosts?
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Same here. Oh yeah, there's Molly, the girl that died
I grew
in
up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
1947.
Molly's tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
That is pretty awesome. Wait, I can see my body.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Ooh, that is a nice effect, how it kind of blends in with the wall. And she has copies of Beast of Nature and Monsters of the Deep. Ah, and a plush squid, or a jellyfish. A plush jellyfish. Yeah, nice view though. Wow, talk about a time capsule. Capsule. Capsule? Never mind.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Oh my, is this a story within a story? Within a story?
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
No. Also, that is potential child cruelty of starving your children.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Yeah, especially since Christopher is uncooked. Ah, the bathroom.
I kept eating and eating.
What am I eating?
I ate a lot of things that night.
Okay, I get the impression this is how Molly died.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her.
Why is her window chained?
Suddenly, I was a cat.
Oh. You know, that just happens to us sometimes. You're minding your own business, trying to find some food, and you become a cat. Now, where can I travel as a cat? I will...
tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
I will get you, kitty. I will get you, birdie. I mean, I am the kitty. He is the birdie. With ultra-realistic cat purring.
I jumped and I almost got her.
Still, this is an interesting way of changing up expectations in regards to the direction of the... There we go.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
I was like, yeah, mama bird, get in my belly. Okay, there we go.
I gobbled her up.
And died?
Suddenly, I was an owl. First,
Okay.
all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Am I searching for these little creatures to munch on?
Rabbits.
Ah, rabbits! Ah! You're mine now, rabbit!
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine.
Oh my god!
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit.
That
Flew off to find something bigger.
that doesn't sound like it's very healthy. You really should chew your food. Even if you're an owl. I don't know. Do owls chew their food?
A mama rabbit.
Uh-huh. So that's 2 mothers that she's eaten so far?
Too big to carry.
But I still ate her.
But I couldn't stop eating. Suddenly, I was a shark.
Okay. A land shark? Just flopping around. Nope. Yep. Here. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh. Like, who needs water when you can hang out? Just roll away.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Ah. I will eat you, fish.
I wanted fat, juicy seeds.
Oh, yeah.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you, seal. Mm-mm. Ah.
Tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
I was a snake. So, what remains of Edith Finch? Part story about...
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Part story about a woman coming back home to reclaim her lost self. Part animal simulator. I was not expecting this. Now, the question I have is...
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Nom, 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 nom. Now, is she dreaming or hallucinating due to the weird things she's been eating? Clearly, she is somebody with an...
To stop, but also I didn't.
I wanted to keep eating. Early in the morning, hey, way up she rises. Hey, way up she rises. Hey, way up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in the scuppers with a hose back on him. Ah, take this.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have.
A Snickers bar. Because you're not yourself when you're hungry. This is the truth. You become giant monster when you're hungry. So grab a Snickers. And there we go. Wait, is this Molly's room? This is Molly's room. Is yep. Oh, jeez. There we go.
I got closer and closer.
And then I saw a little girl. Helpless. Defenseless. Nothing could save her from my own.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Mmm.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Is that the symbol of progress? Ah, and now here's how I can move around the house.
This will be
Since...
obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie
Yeah.
would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past.
Yeah, it seems that way, especially
When
since...
we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Especially since she sealed up the rooms. Nothing says I don't want to talk about the past. Like, I'm closing off the rooms from anybody to go in.
I spent a lot of time in Great Grandma Edie's room.
I figured this was Edie's room, especially by the tank of oxygen. Ooh.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Hey, check that log art. Just quite the sick burn.
Her room was like a museum.
Oh. More copies. Ooh. The Devil's Flame. Ooh, she's got VHS tapes.
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house.
Eh?
Mom was furious.
Family
I haven't thought
videos.
of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Edie won't go.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Refuses to evacuate because of just a little forest fire. The mysteries of death and thereafter. Molly Concepts. So this
Edith
house...
told people Sven was killed by a dragon. She could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Alright. Let's, look at your viewfinder.
500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune. And misfortune.
Let's try that again. There we go.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse. His wife Ingeborg and their newborn son.
Those are some side beards going
January
on.
7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
I suppose that's one way to travel. Oh, but the house sank and then it was rebuilt into the new house.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
Oh, it literally sank in
Odin's
the...
daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
With Al Borland.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
That fills in Ingeborg. So this path I cannot take, but this path I can. Interesting carpeting in the bathroom? That is a thick shag carpeting in the bathroom. Baby bubble bonanza.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
I can tell. It's quite the vibrant look. There's a Secret in This Bathroom by Sven and Edith Finch.
There's a secret in this bathroom.
Ooh, a pop-up book.
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Is it a nook? A nook hidden by the book? It appears that it is a nook hidden by the book, pulled by a hook. I'm pretty shook by how far I managed to keep that going.
He'd refurbished. He never put it down.
It's always important to take pictures. You never know when something is gone. Couple turns land into native heaven. Murder probe. Clues. Exhausted. Milton. This guy has multiple copies of Captured. The Secret Lives of War Photographers. And then there's Fort Kelvin.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
This swing is making me slightly dizzy, I've got to say. Also, with his broken leg.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe
Yeah.
if I hadn't said that.
Like, you should have said going around is possible, but you're going to really, really hurt yourself.
Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
Okay. I admit,
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
I used to have a fear of heights. But even this is giving me a little bit of vertigo.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
That's pretty tragic.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
But it also seems to echo Molly's story a lot.
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
I guess that's
Mom
where
said
her...
Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
I guess that's where Mom gets it, because... Ooh. You know what my house is missing? It's missing secrets. Nope, not so fast. Let's make sure that there's nothing left for me to explore here. Yeah, somebody's gonna have to come by with like a utility knife and scrape, or like a stiff scraper blade and get rid of all of that sealant. Or a sledgehammer and just take off the door.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
But what is this?
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
I noticed every door has its decoration. They definitely went all out. Barb Street. Dreadful stories.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Ooh.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Is this Tales from the Crypt inspired?
Star. Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been.
At 16?
She'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed.
She's only 16.
Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
That's why you can't just have one.
I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
There are a lot of plot twists in this story.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Oh.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Oh. That'll probably be useful to know.
Minutes later,
On how to get to the basement.
hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
I like how this is just a... Ooh, okay.
As she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
And now this is a comic book style version of this story.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Okay, this is pretty awesome. Oh, but the blood is actually from...
Here is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
But the blood is actually from her dad, Sven. And most likely...
Fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear! Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
failed completely.
I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours.
This story has a bit too many twists.
Walter? What's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Still awesome, though. Take that, clock. And that, birds. And this, books. Huh?
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police described the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are
Yeah, so what is going on with the radio, actually?
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
It's clearly a path for me to crawl through. There we go.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
I wonder if they had to get the rights to use this song in the game.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Ah!
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
So there is an actual killer, and then we also had a fake out from the boyfriend.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
Also, is this chair floating? Nope. Chain.
Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom.
Yeah, definitely very Tales from the
So
Crypt.
did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Ooh.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Hmm.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Okay. So if a tragedy would befall myself, or yourself, the question that I put forth to you is, would you be okay with entertainment to be constructed based on around your tragedy? Would you be okay with, like, a comic book, a TV show, or a movie based around your real-life tragedy? I mean, I suppose you wouldn't want to die in the first place. Nobody wants to die a horrible, tragic death by serial killer or monster. But, like, imagine if then you would only be remembered by the entertainment
So now I
version
know
of your
Mom didn't
story.
like me playing with the music box.
But it seems as though the music box
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
is going to be the
All
next
those
part.
times I played with the music box and never found the basement key. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Oh, she was an actress. Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, recommendations for something to play next? Comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. So long for now.